Hello friends, welcome to my channel once again. It's nice to see you guys engaging with me in my videos. I hope I'm making an impact in someone's life. Today I'm going to be having a kind of real conversation. I'm going to present this video in terms of conversations because it's a lengthy episode of issue that is very dear to us Africans in our marriages regarding our in-laws, especially your mother-in-law. In Africa, we have a culture, we have a norm in African context regarding our marriages. Our mother-in-laws are very dear to us. It doesn't matter whether you're from the girl side or from the boy side. Mother-in-law has a powerful sway in our marriages on who we marry or who we not to marry. Yes, at the end of the day, the guy, the son, or the daughter still have a final say on who he or she will marry. But one thing that we cannot deny is our mother-in-laws. They are very, very powerful in our marriages. Either before, during the marriage, or even after the marriage. Our mother-in-laws in African context, they are very, very powerful, revered. We cherish them. They are like egg, very delicate, that we handle with care. Mother-in-laws are very dear to us in our African context. We don't play with our mother-in-laws. They are very powerful. They can persuade and they can unpersuade. To have a very good marital life in either party, either the guy or the girl, you must be clinging to your mother-in-law because we revere them, we cherish them even till their death. But there is a Pandora's box that we always encountering. There is something that we always find difficult to handle with. We've tried so many ways. How do we handle our mother-in-law's escapades? Because they are very delicate when facing your mother-in-law. You see, it's like when you are facing a Supreme Court judge. Let me give you an example. It's like you are being all your hope. It's like you are being sentenced to death, and you keep appealing, you keep appealing, you keep appealing to the extent your case reached the final, the Supreme Court. And when you are standing in front of a judge, this judge has the key to say live or die. And this is your last chance to persuade that Supreme Court judges to say, this is the reason why you should allow me to live, despite my misbehaviors or my deeds. And you are standing in front of a Supreme Court judge, you are shaking because he or she sitting in that seat has a power over your life. But how do you persuade those judges to rethink and say the lower court erred in law and say this guy must leave? Same as our mother-in-laws. When you are looking for a lady to marry or a son to get married to, the first question that the lady asks or the guy asks is your mother-in-law. Who is she? How is she? Try to piece who your mother-in-law is because they know that they have a very powerful say in that marriage. And then your first time going to see your mother-in-law, you are shivering, you are shaking. How do I confront my mother-in-law? What do I say that will persuade her to be on my side? To see reasons why I should be her son-in-law or her daughter-in-laws. So today, that's what brings to my questions. To the topic of today is how to talk to your mother-in-law is the topic of today. So please, I indulge your audience to listen properly. How do you talk to your mother-in-law is my question for today. And this is what I'm going to be piecing about. I'm going to be digesting every aspect of it on how to talk to your mother-in-law. either before, during the dating phase of the guy or the lady, or during the marriage, or even after the marriage? How do you talk to your mother-in-laws, knowing the powerful say they have in your marriage? No man wants to see his mother, unhappy while marrying a lady into his or her home. And no girl wants to marry to a guy while the mother is not happy. Mother-in-law are very powerful in our marriages in African context. Every prayer for any girl, any guy, is to have his or her mother-in-law in support of that marriage and be happy with them. You can marry the most intelligent lady and the most intelligent guy, the most richest man on earth, but if your mother-in-law from both sides are not happy, that marriage will die in perpetuity. You'll never find peace in that marriage. As a guy, you will never find peace within yourself that you see your mother in the village is not happy with you. And as a lady, you will not be happy. You're married to a guy and your mother is not happy in support of that marriage. We always try to make sure that our mother-in-laws are in both agreement to say, yes, I support you to go ahead and get married. So, how do we talk to our mother-in-laws? And that's the topic of today. How do we talk to our mother-in-laws? Learning how to talk to your mother-in-law is soon to be significant other needs to cultivate to have an amicable relationship with someone who matters to their partner. When approaching the situation as a person, sort of stepping into the mom's shoe to take over with the partner in the role that the mother-in-law has carried to this point, can prove somewhat adversarial. Some of us have played in both ways with two mom-in-laws, and the first approach was so much more conducive to an amicable relationship. I was much more mature and had the first experience as a what not to do under my belt the second time. When looking at things to do with mother-in-laws as getting to know a new friend, someone you hope to become a good mate with, rather than seeing it as someone with whom you might be in some kind of silent connections. Alright? Silent competition. The relationship with your future mother-in-law develop as its own friendship. Often, the mother-in-law or the mom-in-law in the friendship scenario will want to speak with you on the phone or in text instead of your partner. That's usually because you have taken the time to establish a bond of your own that doesn't include your mate. Alright? Now, the question is that when seeing your mother-in-law, you'll be wondering, what do I talk to my mother-in-law about? There are varieties of things you can talk to your mother-in-law about. There are issues that you can confide with your mother-in-law about. If you win your mother-in-law to your side, she becomes your friend. You have a lot of things you are privileged to discuss with her. It is natural to be nervous around the mother-in-law, which we are anytime, especially if you are meeting your mother-in-law the first time. We are always nervous because we don't know what to talk to them about. It's like stepping into a family for the first time that you don't even know, and here she is standing before you. You'll be shivering. What do I say to her, my future mother-in-law? It is natural to be nervous around the mother-in-law of your mate, since you feel they will be assessing your every movements and comments. To be honest, in most situations they will. Right from the first time you step foot into that family and you are seeing that mother-in-law in front of you. Every movement you made in that family, they are watching. Every comment you make, they are watching. They are analyzing you, sensing your movement, sensing your oratory, sensing all you say to them. The fear of judgment can make it hard to figure out how to talk to your mother-in-law. Still, it is all about how you carry the initial conversations, since you only get the one chance to make that first impression. That first impression matters. The fear of judgment can make it hard to figure out how to talk to your mother-in-law. Still, it is all about how you carry the initial conversations, since you only got one chance to make that first impression. When you take the approach of using the questions to ask mother-in-law about herself, as you would any person you meet for the first time, consider nice things to say to your mother-in-law in response to her comments. Alright? Consider nice things to say to your mother-in-law in response to her comments. Merely enjoy her like a new friend. Things generally will go well. Alright? Then with each visit after that, build on that friendship. Develop a closer bond between the two of you instead of worrying how she will view you as a mate to your partner. Alright? After the initial visit, try to build that friendship. Develop a closer bond between the two of you instead of worrying how she will view you as a mate to her partner. Consider nice things to say to your mother-in-law in response to her comments. When she says something, consider nice things to say to your mother-in-law. Okay? Things will generally go well. In this sense, she is getting to know you as an individual. And that is so much more important, because that's really all mom-in-laws want to know, with whom their child is getting involved. Your mother-in-law wants to get to know you as an individual. That is very important to her. She wants to get to know you as an individual. To whom is this guy is going to marry my daughter or marry my son? She doesn't want to get to know you as I am the most richest man on earth. I'm the CEO of this. I'm the managing director of this. I'm the owner of this. No, that cares nothing to her. So when you are going presence of your mother-in-law, don't go as, oh, I'm the managing director of this oil company. I'm the CEO of this financial bank. I am this, I am that. Your mother-in-law is more than that. You are nothing to her if you come to her in that way. She doesn't care about your wealth. All what she cares is to know you as an individual who is going to be spending the rest of his or her life with my daughter or my son. So when you are going to your mother-in-law, don't go in convoy of cars. Don't go there to show your wealth, because that means nothing to her. Already you are portraying yourself that you want to buy her daughter over with money. She doesn't want to sell her daughter or her son. Her daughter or her son is not goods. It's not an item for sale. She's handing her daughter or her son to you to marry is a privilege, not a right. You are not entitled to her daughter or to her son. It's just a privilege being accorded to you. So when you are going to see your mother-in-law, don't go in convoy. Keep your worldly materials at home. Go in one car with your family, or even walk to your mother-in-law. She wants to know you as an individual, not as a CEO of an oil company. Because she's not selling her daughter to you. She's just giving you her daughter for marriage as a privilege. not as a right. You are not entitled to marry her daughter. You don't have that entitlement. It's a privilege accorded to you if you win her over. So that's the mistake we make at times. When you are going to see your mother-in-law, you are going to go in convoy of cars to show that you have money, to show you are this. To her, it means nothing. You are nothing before her. Because this is not what she wants to see. She wants to see who you are, not what makes you. Okay? So in this sense, she is getting to know you as an individual. And that is so much more important, because that's really all mom-in-laws want to know, with whom their daughter or their son is getting involved. After some time, please send a text to say good morning and ask how she is, or give her a quick call to do the same. Like any other person, a mother-in-law doesn't want to be the enemy. Your mother-in-law doesn't want to be the enemy with you. Do not be in competition with your mother-in-law. Don't make her feel that you are competing with her to take her daughter away or her son away by force. You must humble yourself before your mother-in-law. You must bring yourself down below her feet. At the same time, maintaining your dignity. She doesn't want to feel to be the enemy. That is why at some time, please send a text to say good morning. Ask how she is doing. Give her a quick call. And make her feel free to do same, to call you, to ask how you are doing. Mother-in-law doesn't want to be the enemy. They are receptive if you press the right button. But if you press the wrong button, then you see the hostility in her. It's like a chicken with her, little kittens. Go and see that chicken with her little babies moving, and you want to take one of them and see how vicious it's going to attack you. And see how vicious the mother is going to attack if you want to take one of the little chickens. That's how mothers are. If you want to see the venom of mother-in-law, touch her on her bad side regarding her daughter. Then you see the venom in her. You see the spiteful in her. She doesn't want to be your enemy, and don't make her be your enemy, because that marriage will be in hell. So, trying to understand your mother-in-law is very important. Okay? It is crucial when you meet a future mother-in-law to know a bit of the personality. Whether you will be meeting a mature mother-in-law, and determine methods your mate would design for her to talk to your mother-in-law, since your partner will know best. So if you are meeting your mother-in-law for the first time, the best candidate to ask is your partner, the guy or the lady, to tell you more about your mother-in-law. He or she will devise a means on how to meet your mother-in-law. Do not go to your mother-in-law the first time without getting an insight from the lady side if you are marrying her daughter, or from the guy side if you are marrying her son. They are in the best position to put you through which button to press and which button not to press. They know their mothers very well. If you want to be in the right book of your mother-in-law, talk to your partner. That first crucial meeting with your mother-in-law. It is crucial when you meet a future mother-in-law to know a bit of personality. Your partner will tell you the personality of your mother-in-law. Whether you be meeting a mature mother-in-law, and determine method your mate will design how to talk to your mother-in-law, since your partner will know best. Okay? So, if your future mother-in-law is not fan of someone being forward, you don't want to walk in and introduce yourself with a handshake. In an African context, we do not shake our fathers. No matter, the son does not shake his father or his mother. In our African culture, you can never see a son stretch out his hand to shake his father. It's a taboo. It is an abomination. When we are in the presence of our fathers or elders, we bow and they pat us on our back. That's a sign of respect. Except in some situation, some of your elders will stretch their hand to shake you, then you are obliged to shake their hands. But in no circumstances do you meet your elder, your father, and then you are stretching your hand to shake. That is a taboo. In an African culture, we do not shake our fathers or elders. We either bow or we kneel. That's a sign of respect. So we do not shake our mother-in-law's hands. When you are visiting your mother-in-law for the first time, do not stretch out your hands to shake your mother-in-law. Okay? If your future mother-in-law is not fond of someone being forward, you don't want to walk in and introduce yourself with a handshake. In that situation, you should wait on your maid to do the introduction and then offer your hand. Alright? Alright? So, that is it. We do not shake our elders in our African cultures. So when you are visiting your mother-in-law, there are norms you have to abide by. You can then progress into the in-law etiquette questions from her handshake if she stretches her hand to shake you. Starting with a simple "how are you?" Generally, when considering things to say to your mother-in-law, open-ended questions require an effort to answer will get the two of you into a deeper conversation, not necessarily involving your partner. So when you walk into your mother-in-law's house, starting with "how are you?", asking about the family, showing care, that you care about the family well-being is very important. Asking questions about their well-being is very important. Okay, so it is important you start by asking "how are you?". Don't dive into the reason why you are visiting her for the first time. Let her feel comfortable of your visit to her place. Remember, you are in presence of her authority. Your mother-in-law is the authority. When you are in presence of your mother-in-law, you are standing before an authority that is higher than you. And you have to surrender to that authority in a humble way to get her blessings. You are not there to buy her daughter or her son. You are there for a privilege to be accorded to you. So, presenting yourself as humble as possible before your mother-in-law, it is advisable to follow that route. Do not go there to show your wealth. She is not there to sell her daughter to you. Alright? So, that is one point. So, no one wants to meet their mother-in-law with a script prepared in their head because the conversation will look forced and uncomfortable. It is vital to come across as natural and genuinely interested in what this person has to say because the individual will be in your life for a long time. That's what I'm trying to explain earlier. When you are visiting your mother-in-law for the first time, don't go there scripted. Don't go there with your convoy to display your wealth. Don't go there as if she has to bow to you by showing your wealth to put her in a situation that she cannot have a free conversation with you. Remember, you are asking her son or her daughter in marriage and you are seeking her blessing. Let her be in control of that situation. You are in her authority, her own home. Let her feel free to ask you questions, to converse with you, to penetrate you. Don't make her feel intimidated because you are coming with convoy and things. Because her daughter is not for sale. Her daughter is not for sale. It's not an item you are purchasing. His son is not for sale. You are asking for a privilege, not a right. You are not entitled to marry her daughter or her son. You are coming to her to say, mother-in-law, can you accord me that privilege to be a son-in-law, a daughter-in-law to this home? So don't go there scripted by going there to introduce the number of chieftaincy titles you have, who you are, what made you. You are the CEO of this and that, you are this and that. So that means nothing to her. Already, you are shutting her off. Already, that is an intimidation. That I have the word to buy your daughter whether you like it or not. And that is when questions start to arise. How did you make your money? Who are you? Are you a ritualist? Because already you come across to her as somebody who doesn't care and can get anything you want, whether he or she likes it or not. But if you go to your mother-in-law for the first time, humbling yourself before her, putting your convoys of cars aside at home and go with one car or one bicycle, it's a sign of respect. Let her engage you in a conversation. Let her feel free to ask questions about you. And then later finding out you, maybe after marriages, she can find out you are this, you are that. That's an additional blessing to her. So no one wants to meet their mother-in-law with a script prepared in their head, because the conversation will look forced and uncomfortable. It is vital to come across as natural, genuinely interested in what this person has to say, because the individual will be in your life for a long time. You are there to give her a reason why he or she should accept you as an in-law to this family. Okay? No mother-in-law want to sell their daughter. Their daughter is not for sale. No mother want to send their son. Their son is not for sale. Okay? That means you genuinely want to develop your separate relationship so you can spend time with mom-in-law in your own when your mate is not around. Therefore, it becomes crucial to figure out how to talk to your mother-in-law. Let your mother-in-law be your friend. That even without your partner presence, that your mother-in-law can visit you, can have a conversation with you, without being scared of what to say about you or what to do in your home. First of all, before you married his son or married her daughter, establish that friendship with your mother-in-law. The friendship must be established. If both of you cannot be friends, then there's no need of any marriage into that family, because it's not going to work. Plus, there may be some friction with your mother-in-law, even if you don't develop a close-knit relationship, because moment will arise when one of you will get on the other's personal toes. Those boundaries need to be addressed early, perhaps before the wedding occurs. Remember in my previous video, I said set your boundaries at the beginning. It is important to set your boundaries with your mother-in-law. Despite you want to create a friendship relationship with your mother-in-law, that friendship is vital with your mother-in-law. Okay? That's why I say there may be some frictions with your mother-in-law, even if you don't develop a close-knit relationship. Because moment will arise when one of you will get on the other's personal toes. Therefore, boundaries need to be addressed early, perhaps before the wedding. There are men that don't want their mother-in-law coming to live in their homes after the marriage. There are men, in African culture. I'm always particular with African culture. I'm an African. As soon as you marry a lady or a guy, you see, as soon as you marry the lady, the next thing you see, the family members, the sister, the brother come to live with you. And during the time of your dating, the lady didn't tell you that my sister have to come and live with me, my brother have to come and live with me. Or from your husband's side, they never told you, oh, my brother is going to come and live with me. So these are the things. There are some men that doesn't want that. I, for one, personally, if I'm married to an African a lady, I don't want your brother and sister come to live in my palace. No, I'm not going to tolerate that. They can come and visit and leave. Not I'm marrying you. I'm not marrying you. I'm not marrying you. Your brothers and sisters can come and visit me and leave, but not to come and stay in my home permanently. I'm not going to tolerate that. So that is why you have to discuss those things, set the boundaries. These are do's and don'ts. Hey, lady, I don't want to see any of your family come. They can come and visit. They can come and visit and go, but they come and leave? No, these are the boundaries you are setting before the wedding. So if you know that you are the type, set your boundaries before the wedding. If the lady said, no, my mother have to come and live with me, my brothers and sisters have to come and live with me, then you have to decide, should this wedding go ahead or not? You guys have to address boundaries. Because you don't want to marry and the next thing you see, the next thing you hear, darling, my mom is coming to live with me. Oh, my brother and sister, something happened there. No. Then when you said no, you start creating frictions. And there are some mother-in-law, this thing always happen on the lady's side. They will prefer their own sister, their brother to come and live with them permanently at home, but they will not allow the guy's brother and sister to come and live permanently. And that is wrong. You want the guy to allow you to bring your sisters, your brother to come and stay with you here and live. But when my brothers and sisters are coming, you don't want them. Then that is nonsense. That is not advisable. If you want your husband to accommodate your sisters, you should be willing to accommodate his own side. And that is why you have to address these boundaries before the wedding. Okay? So, if you watch my previous videos on overbearing mother-in-laws, how to handle them, I did mention this. Set your boundaries right from day one. That is my favorite. I said, set your boundaries at the beginning. This is my point that you should not cross. Alright? So, these are the things that is very important, that you should set your boundaries as early as possible. If you guys cannot sort it out, then you guys have to ask your questions. Should we proceed with this marriage? Because already we've seen the frictions. Okay? So, now, I'm going to give you guys maybe 5, 6, or 10 on some questions that might come up with your mother-in-law at some point. Okay? At some point when you are dealing with your mother-in-law, there are some questions that might pop up. And the first one is security in her relationship with your mate. What are the security in her relationship with your mate? That is number one. All mother-in-law worry that their child will disappear once they get married. That they will never see them. It is vital to assure your mother-in-law that your intention is not to pull your mate, that is your son or your daughter, away from her family. It is very important when dealing with mother-in-laws, because they will feel that, you see, mother-in-laws cherish their son, their daughter. When they are giving them away to you as a privilege, they want a security assurance that you are not taking them away finally, permanently away from them. They want that assurance. They want that assurance. So number one, in talking to your mother-in-law, you have to assure her security in her relationship with your mate. That is, with security in her relationship with your son or with your daughter. That is why I use mate. All mother-in-laws worries that their child will disappear once they get married. that they will never see them again. It is vital to assure your mother-in-law that your intention is not to pull your son or your daughter away from them, from their family permanently. More so, you hope that you can become more active participant as you grow to know them and become accepted. See, you are assuring the mother-in-law, no, mom, I'm not taking your son or your daughter away forever. You are going to see them. As time goes on, as I get to know this family and I'm accepted into this family, you get to see your son. You get to see your daughter. You are welcome to my home. Anytime you are welcome. This is the assurance every mother-in-law wants to hear from you as a future son-in-law, as a future daughter-in-law. Remember, no mother-in-law is not selling their son or their daughter to you. It's just a privilege. Fulfilling that scripture that says, at a point in life, you must leave your father, your mother to go and establish your own home. When contemplating what to say to your mother-in-law, assure your mate's mom, that is your mother-in-law, that she will always be given priority in your partner's life. Encourage her to express any concern that she may have so that you can address it in an open, vulnerable conversation meant to help to ease her fears. Okay? When contemplating what to say to your mother-in-law, assure your mother-in-law that she will always be given priority in her partner's life. That is, if you are marrying her daughter or son, assure your mother-in-law that she will always be given priority to her son or to her daughter. Encourage her to express any concern that she may have so that you can address it in an open, vulnerable conversation meant to ease her fears. You are taking that fears away. You are assuring her that security guarantee she wants. These are the things you have to just let her know when meeting your mother-in-law. Number 2, holiday plans. Holiday plans. Somebody will ask me what holiday plans means. All right? What holiday plans mean? When your mate might want to start your own holiday tradition, apart from either family, that can be tough for in-laws from both sides to accept. But it doesn't mean excluding family from the holidays. It only means that things change a bit to allow compromise. Figuring out how to talk to your mother-in-law and your own mom about the various holiday means. Taking a day with all of you, including your partner and the mom's significant others. Plus the calendar to develop a schedule to each holiday that works for everyone, hopefully without a battle. What am I saying? When you are trying to you married her son or marrying her daughter, and both of you at a point in time you guys are going to go to holiday. You don't want the other family to be feeling, oh, why are you spending much time going on holiday with your daughter's mom? Your own wife will be complaining, oh, you always go to holiday with your mom. What about my mom? That is why you have to schedule a calendar. Both of you reach a compromise. Okay, this year we are going to spend holiday this year here. Next year we are going to go to this. You guys have to reach a compromise in your holiday plans. Or this year it's okay, my wife is going to spend the holiday in their mom's place. The next holiday you're going to go and spend holiday in my mom's place. Or this holiday the children are going to go to your in-laws place. The next holiday is going to go to this in-laws place. All these are compromises. You and your mate might want to start your own holiday tradition as part of your other family. That can be tough for in-laws from both sides to accept. But it doesn't mean excluding family from the holiday. It only means that things change a bit to allow compromise. Figuring out how to talk to your mother-in-law and your own mom about the various holiday means taking a day with all of you, including your partner and mom's significant others, plus the calendar to develop a schedule for each holiday that works for everyone, hopefully without battle. Okay? That will mean there are things to do with your mother-in-law for a few hours on each holiday, and your mom plus several hours with your mates and friends from both social cycles will ease everything down. You got to fashion a way to make both families happy. Don't make it consistent. If you're a wife, don't always, every time, it has to be my family, it has to be your family. No, you have to accommodate his family. And if you're a man, don't make it always be your own mother-in-law. You also have to accommodate her own family in making your holiday plans. Number 3, a favorite dish that comforts and suits. Number 3, a favorite dish that comforts and suits. Everyone has a bad day when they need something suits and comforts them. That usually means one mom's favorite dish that was well loved when living with your mother-in-law as a child. Okay? A meaningful conversation is finding what this meal is and then having a day to learn how to make it. It can be an important way to figure out how to talk to your mother-in-law. Not only will this make mother-in-law feel special, but she can't wait to get it in the kitchen and teach individual techniques. All moms love to show off their cooking skills, especially when ensuring their child will be taken care of when things aren't going well. So another way to talk to your mother-in-law is through her dish. Knowing your mother-in-law's dish, what is her favorite, how she prepare it, what do you like eating, what kind of dish your mother-in-law prepares that you like. So going through that route, say, oh mom, I love your dish, you know how to cook. Every woman wants to hear from her husband, your food is delicious. Don't eat any woman's food and say your food is sour. Believe you me, you will die of hunger in that house. Never you in any situation, your wife cook for you, even if you are angry or both of you are quarreling and she serve you food. At the end of that dish, say, darling, your food is wonderful. If she's mad, she's going to come down. She'll say, you know what? Everyone wants to be appreciated of her dish. So when your mom-in-law living with you, there's a favorite dish you like, or you visit her and she prepared those dishes, and you come across one dish you like, that's an avenue of knowing how to talk to her by complimenting her dish. To say, mom, I love this your dish, can you teach me the technique? All moms love to show off their cooking skills, especially when ensuring their child will be taken care of when things aren't going well. Okay? So, understanding those dish that you like for your mother-in-law is very important. Okay? Number 4, secret and stories. Secret and stories. Some method for how to talk to your mother-in-laws involving getting mom to spill the beans about your mate from time the partner was small. Okay? What am I saying here? Okay? Secret and stories. Some method for how to talk to your mother-in-laws involve getting mom to spill the beans about your mate from when they are small. You know, when you ask your secret mother-in-law, can you tell me what, can you tell me secret, how does she look like when she's small? What are those things that she does? Then your mother-in-law can now spill in the beans. You visit your mother-in-law alone, and both of you she starts telling you those secrets and stories about your partners when they are small. She's trying to get to know you individually. You are making her feel comfortable to now tell you those personal things that she's not supposed to tell you, because you are not opening up. Whether these are funny stories, mishaps, perhaps even breaking out the photo album to see the pictures from babyhood up to the present day. She can say, okay, my son, wait down, let me go and get the album. She will tell you, look at her, look at her, look at this, look at this. To you, this might not mean nothing to you, but to her, that means a lot. For her to let you into the secret of the family of the person you want to get to marry. If she's not comfortable with you, she cannot allow you to break that boundary to an extent of telling you those secrets about your partner. But because you make her feel comfortable individually, now she's beginning to understand and to know you. Then lead into what might be some secrets you should know about keeping things relatively stable for marriage with this person and how you can avoid rough patches. Because she can tell you certain things about her daughter that you should know in case if you come across it, is how to handle it. Those are those secrets and stories. Okay? A mom loves to give advice and can express where triggers might be with their child and how to maneuver around those to keep things from progressing into rocky situations. So these are the ways of how to talk to your mother-in-laws. Now, number 5. I think I'm going to stop at number 5. The subject of babies. Mother-in-laws want grandchildren. Every mother-in-law don't play with their grandchildren. In African context, in African culture, we know what we go through. If you are married, or if you are not married, and you are married within 1 year, they're expecting grandchildren. And you don't want mother-in-laws fight on that aspect because she's going to make that marriage hell. A mother-in-law and mom will immediately start discussing grandbabies. The instant they know there is a marriage happening, it is essential to let them know right away where you and your mate stand on that topic. Whether you want to start a family soon after celebrating your ceremony, wait a while before having a children, or you don't intend to have kids, it is crucial to find a method to learn how to talk to your mother-in-law about the way you feel honestly. It can always change down the road, and sometimes it doesn't, but that's a personal decision, and parents need to respect that. Of course, both of you will get pushback and continue to get enraged until another family member has a marriage and mother-in-law can start baby to talk about. It is important. It is important you discuss about it, because once you are talking about marriage to her daughter or to her son, the next thing is, when am I seeing my grandchildren? This is very important that you discuss it with your mother-in-law. Assure her what or when you're going to be having children. You don't want to tell lie her, say yes, as soon as you get children, we're going to have children, and as soon as you get children, say, oh mom, I'm not ready to have children, I'm going to wait for another 2 years. No. Because as soon as you go to any mother-in-law and you are talking about marrying her daughter or her son, what is ringing in her head? Oh, I'm going to be seeing my grandchildren. Okay? You're going to let her know where you stand on that. Whether you instantly want to start having children as soon as you got married, or you're going to wait for another 1 or 2 years, or you don't want children. This have to be discussed with her because it is very vital. Okay? And lastly, you're going to talk about her, about your mate, about him. It is vital to not only talk about your mate, but when deciding how to talk about your mother-in-law, how to talk to your mother-in-law, the one most important topic is your mother-in-law. The idea is to develop a bond with her as a friend and not just as a mother-in-law. Okay? Ask questions about her or him, including some of her interests, of his interests and hobbies, or other things he or she enjoys. Mom will appreciate those questions and appreciate the conversations. She might even share a secret or two about him or her that your mate might not know. If she does, it's better to keep things confidential that she says to you, since this is about the two of you growing together. Anything she says, tell you about her son or about her daughter in secret when she was a toddler, it's important you keep it confidential, because both of you are both of you are trying to know each other, grow together. Both of you are trying to build that bond as a friend. She doesn't tell you something about her son or her daughter, you go back and meet your mate and say, oh, my mom said this, your mother. No. It's something you have to keep confidential, because this is about two of you growing closer together. Until such a time that both of you are now real friends, you've grown tighter, you got married to his son or her daughter. Along the line, you can bring it that you and your partner can sit in a living room and then you start throwing jokes. Your mom said this to me one night. By that time, you've crossed the bridge. So, these are some of the ways how to talk to your mother-in-law. All right. I hope I was able to nail it. But please leave me a comment. I want to read from you guys on what you think about it. It is important. Our mother-in-laws are very powerful in our marriages, in our homes. So we know how they are delicate dishes we handle with care. We don't want to, taste their venom. We don't want to be in their bad side, because they are going to make that marriage a hell. Our mother-in-laws are very powerful. They can make peace and they can mar peace in that marriage. We hide them, we have them, we keep them in high esteem, our mother-in-laws. No son plays with his mother and no daughter plays with her mother. Remember, mothers are not selling their children to you. It's a privilege they are giving you to marry either their son or their daughter. And when you are going to meet your mother-in-law, humble yourself before her. It is not a right, it's a privilege being accorded to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in my next video, and please leave me a comment, share and subscribe. Okay, thank you guys very much. As you guys are watching this video, I hope I'm making a difference. See you guys. Goodbye.